Hello once again. Good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Truth Channel. Welcome to a place, an oasis, I truly believe, where you can ask any question and know that it will be answered. It may not be answered by me, but there is a lively, holy one that has assured said, come as you are, come and ask, and I will turn none away. Today is November 19th, 2025, and this is recording 9/16. 9/16. It's entitled, Consciousness Precedes Form. Consciousness precedes form. Now, there are those who receive these videos on CD, and their title is going to read, Children of the Living Father. And that is because I get titles ahead of time, and by the time it comes to bring forth the video, there may be something that supersedes that title, but it's still talking about what the original title was. So I don't want them to be confused going, wait a minute, consciousness precedes form, but my title says this. But I think you'll understand. Consciousness. Jesus said that when you know yourself, you will become children of the living Father. When you know yourself. Consciousness is the basis by which we perform all tasks. Think of this. How would you act if when you were born, you were totally immersed in the consciousness of God as a loving Father, protector, provider, one who watches over, looks after? What would your actions be? How would you approach life if you knew God that way, rather than, I'll say, how I was instructed, that God was the judge of the universe and he was watching like Santa Claus. You do right, you do wrong, and you're going to get punished. But what if, just what if, your platform had been the understanding of the character of God and what was expected and what you would receive as you got to know God? Now just think about going to school. We didn't even have, what is it? That first one, I can't think of the name of it, but you got pre-K, and then you got one ahead of pre-K. We didn't even have that when I was going. But when you got to the first grade, they taught you a foundation. And they told you that your foundation for the rest of your life would be based on this, whether it was the mathematics of starting at 1 and going to infinity, or the alphabet going from A to Z, and you would form words. Well, just think about the fact that Moses gave a lot of people, he gave them a lot of instruction on how to serve God. He gave them the 10 Commandments, and then it went on into this and that and this and that as you deal with people. But recall what the very first one was. Love the Lord with all your heart, with all your strength and all your might, and love your neighbor as yourself. Now, if you never learned anything else other than that, your focus or priority would be on how to love God. And as we look in the Old Testament, as they came out of Egypt, out of bondage, they were instructed to do what? Take these sayings as I give them to you, write them in your heart, write them on your hands, write them on your forehead, keep them ever before your eyes, and write them on your cupboards. See, consciousness. If we have a perfect understanding of who, what, when, where, and how God is, that would be the platform that we stand on. And once we understand that, consciousness is going to precede everything that forms the experience in our lives. And as it forms it, guess what? We are automatically formed as children of the living Father. Children of the living Father. What is the living Father? Well, the Father that lives, the one that is all, must also have what? Consciousness. So God is conscious of itself. And being conscious of itself, it emanates that consciousness to in and as everything that comes forth as form. So God has already outpictured us. He's pictured us within itself and then outpictures us as itself, filled with the consciousness of itself, that as we make God the one platform that we stand on, what's going to happen? We're going to outpicture that character. Now you say, but I'm going through a lot of stuff that's really hurting. Would to God that you would understand that those are the things that's necessary to take away all of the crutches and whatnot that you've built up to take care of yourself, because you were not, and I was not, what? I was not taught. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, with all your strength, and all your might. That also takes care of accidents, mistakes. So what happens is we have tried to form a life for ourselves by setting up defense mechanisms and offensive aggressiveness to form a harmonious world for us to live in. Now here comes the next question. Think about this. The scriptures say, lay not up for yourself treasures where moth, rust, and thieves can break in to steal, but lay up your treasure in heaven. Here's the question. How many of us are looking at our bank accounts, looking at our job, looking at our relationships, looking at dividends, looking at 401ks, retirement? How many of us are getting up every day making sure that we have enough, substance to live on, and then trying to maintain a life where we can stay here as long as possible? Lay not up for yourself treasures in the earth. I looked at my wife the other day and I said, you know what? When I leave here, all this stuff right here that it looks like I own, guess what? She started laughing. Yeah, I'm going to leave every bit of it here. Can't take any of it with me. So what's my priority? My priority is to what? Lay up treasure where these things, the things of the earth, cannot get in to steal. Now, I'm not saying just forget about life, let everything go and just think about God all the time. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is realize your purpose. Realize your purpose for trying to get to know this thing called God. Ask yourself the question, why am I in this? Because that's what I asked myself, because I'm going to be honest with you. When I first got into this, it was all about getting things. It was all about getting healings. It was all about getting my enemies off me. It was all about that. My life being made harmonious, and God was going to be my helper. But the more I dealt and delved into the substance of God, I began to realize that God is something that is so awesome that he says, once you get to know me, see, I will declare you my child. And what was the thing that Jesus said to the disciples? Remember the first thing he said to them? You are the light of the world. The light. You are the light. You are that which shines, that show others freedom. But not only do you show freedom, what are you showing? You are showing the reality of an intelligence that loves all, and you're secure in it because you have recognized it to be all that it is. So we come to the conclusion that our external formations conform to the conscious beliefs we hold as reality. Now, you may not want to hear that statement, but trust me, if you accept it right now, you can change your world. Change it from what? Well, what you don't like about it, or what you would like to see it turn into. Why? Consciousness precedes form. What you hold within your understanding as reality is going to outpicture as your reality. Are you having problems with people? Are you having problems with finances? Are you having problems with this and that? Well, that's your conscious understanding of who you are right now. You might be saying that it's this person doing this or that person doing that, but guess what? The belief that you're carrying within yourself has formed that person as an image to come, and they're not coming to berate you. They're coming to show you what you believe so that you might what? That you might form the righteous consciousness of God, and that reality turn into the reality of God. The man who built his reality on a rock. Upon this rock, I'll build my church. You should be declaring, I am reality. I am light. I am sent. I was sent as the light of the world. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to go out here and persuade people how to live. No, what you're doing is you're opening the doors for the reality within you to flame up and flood you, as Paul mentioned in the first chapter of Ephesians. He says that you might have insight into the mystic secrets, the secret substances of God, and that the eyes of your heart be flooded with light, see, understanding. Wow. So as I accept the reality of God as God is, and then I offer myself, I extend, submit myself to that reality, there you go. Now we begin to see that reality outpicture itself as my experience. I am a living reality. How do I know I am a living reality? Well, if you sit still and just notice that your breath just in and out, like the wind, it just in and out. You don't have to think about it. Your heart just thumps. And then you begin to think of all of the, I would say, trillions of things that go on in your body that you take for granted. That makes you a living reality, and it also should reveal what? Yep. That there is a living reality living as you. And if it's living as you, it states, I have given you all that I am, that you might know me, and you might know yourself. And when you know yourself, you will know yourself as a child of the living Father. Now we realize that there is a living intelligence that is above, or that is the substance of all form. It's the substance of all form. And from it, everything emanates. whether it be a tree, an animal, grass, flowers, men, trees, you name it, women, female, it doesn't matter. Everything is emanating from that. And our responsibility is to understand that we might be able to what? Perform the purpose that was put in us before the foundation of the world. And what was that purpose? To show the light. You are the light of the world. And what is the light of the world? Christ Jesus. As within, so without goes the saying. See, we're not to walk around saying, I am God, I am Christ Jesus. No, we allow that to flow out from us, that truth, and as it flows out, that formation of the what we call the mortal man ceases from his works in the book of Hebrews. Ceases from his works as God ceased from his. Well, when did God cease from his works? From the foundation of the world. When you know yourself, you will bring forth peacefully and confidently that which appears as your imaginative desire. Son, thou art always with me, and all that I have is thine. Now you can see why I get excited about bringing this, because what's available. Just look at what's available. Whatsoever you ask in my name. Well, in my name means whatsoever you ask, knowing the substance of Jesus Christ, the fullness of God dwelling within you. See, whatsoever you ask. And how do I ask? I ask by acceptance. That's it. I ask by acceptance. All that the Father has is mine. Jesus said, when you pray, believe that you have received. Well, I saw this particular coat that I wanted. I'm just going to be a little practical right now. I saw this coat that I wanted. And Jesus says, well, see yourself as the fullness of light and accept that whatsoever you desire, I will give it to you. That coat has to materialize. It has to. And it has to materialize not as a coat, but it has to materialize as the coat that you have desired. Now we get off of physical and practical things, and what? I want to walk in the reality and believe with all my heart that I am the light of the world. If I am the light of the world, that means I'm always glowing. I don't have to walk around and tell people I'm the light. I don't have to tell people follow me. I don't have to tell people do as I say, practice what I practice. See, I don't have to do that. What do? I accept the fact that a light always flows. And just what is that light? That light is that which is before all things. I am allowing that light to flow into expression. We're going to look at a situation here, and I want you to look at this. This is how that light flowed as an example in the scripture. The lady with the issue of blood was afflicted with an issue of blood flow that could not be fixed or could not be resolved, and she had suffered at the hands of many physicians. And that doesn't mean that the doctors made her worse or they tortured her. It meant that she suffered trying to get healed, okay, and could not. Her reality was, I've got this thing on me and I don't know how to get it off. So what does she do? She either hears about a man named Jesus who's now doing healing. She either heard him speak a time or two, whatever the case may be. But I guarantee you, she sat with herself and she imagined healing. See? She imagined healing coming to the world. How do I know? Well, it says that the disciples were constantly waiting on him who was to come. The whole world were waiting. Where did they get this expectation? They had been told by the Pharisees. They had been told by the Sadducees. They had been told by the spiritual leaders that there was one that would come that would bring healing to the world. So she has sat and come. She has come to an understanding that healing is coming. Healing is coming. And without seeking him through prayer, but attending to a flame that existed within her, she came up with the understanding and she caught in a moment that the time had come for her to be healed. Consciousness precedes form. I hope you got your inner ear open. She is forming her healing within her consciousness. How do I know this? Because she knows there is a God. She knows there is one that is to come and to set them free. So she is sitting and she is formulating the coming of the Messiah. She doesn't really know when. And I would even go as far as to say that she realized that the time was. Something spoke to her that when that Messiah would show, and when he did, she would know it. This is very important. This is a very important truth that we must come to understand. Why? Because there may be 4, 5, 6 people of us on this call or even more, but guess what? Each one of us defines our reality by what we hold in consciousness as truth and reality. This woman has suffered more than 12 years. More than 12 years. How then could she come to Jesus on that particular fateful day and receive a full-blown healing? Now you got to remember, it was against the law for her to be seen in public. It was against the law for her to come out. What caused her, when she heard that Jesus was coming through the streets, what caused her to put that law aside? And it says she had an issue of blood, so we can imagine a little bit that it says that she came into the crowd, and as she moved through the crowd, we can imagine a little bit that, maybe she left a trace of blood here, a trace of blood there, and people saw her. But look at what her consciousness is doing. Her consciousness is causing her to move. What did James say? Faith without works is dead. She was willing to put aside whatever treasures she could have laid up in this world, that she might lay up a treasure in heaven where nothing could touch her. She was willing to lay her life down that she might receive a healing. Like I said before, she had either heard or she had been told of this wonderful teaching But she knew that the mouth of this teacher was getting results. Get it? Why are you in this teaching? And what I mean by that is not this particular one that I'm doing. Why are you getting involved with God? Just be honest with yourself. As I told you earlier, my whole thing was totally selfish gain. I was going to get a good job. I was going to get good health. I was going to have money, all of that. I was going to get my enemies dealt with until I realized there's more to this than just my well-being. Ask yourself, why am I in this? And if there's a healing you need, there's nothing wrong with it. If there's money that you need, that you think you need, there's nothing wrong with it. But I tell you what, as you form consciousness, as you form within your consciousness the richness of God, which added and brings no sorrow, your concerns about those things are going to drop away as you allow him who is to come to be realized where? In your conscious awareness. Because until you realize him there, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to get discouraged. Why? Consciousness precedes form. And you need to realize that that thing that you're looking for, what's the first place that you realize it? That's right, in your consciousness. And when you form it in your consciousness, and you don't really have to say, I want this type of so-and-so shaped like that. No. What is it? I will know that God is God. I will realize that God is God. God is all. God is the fulfillment of everything. There is no place where God is not. God is light. And that flame of light is within me. Look at what you're forming as your conscious awareness. And you've opened the doors wide. She formed her release from the ailment by forming her freedom prior to walking or crawling into the streets to make that event to the point to where it could be written in what we call the scriptures. She continued her rehearsal until she was moved to defy all material, social, and current spiritual laws. She saw herself knowingly or unknowingly as a child of the living Father. Now, whether she had committed sins or not sins, it doesn't even matter, does it? It doesn't even mention. She said, if I can touch the hem of his garment, I will be made whole. If I can touch. Where did she form if I can touch? You know, sometimes you can touch somebody's clothing and they not even know you touched. So she was saying, I don't even need to be recognized by him. But if I can get close enough, see, if I can get close enough to understanding of divinity, I'll be made whole. And all it took was a touch of his garment. And look at how he reacted. He felt virtue. Why did he feel virtue? I hope y'all ready for this. Because that virtue was all around. It was around everybody that was in the streets that day. Jesus says, the kingdom of heaven is all around you. It is everywhere. It is only looking for what? Recognition. If I recognize that it is there, it is going to make itself known. She says, if I can just touch the hem of his garment. And what she didn't realize was he was the fullness. Get this. He was the fullness of the presence of God made visible, and yet that fullness was also everywhere. She could have just said, I'm healed, and it would have happened. In all of this, in everything that she did that day, defying all the laws, defying coming out in public, defying that which could get her stoned, what did she see? She saw herself as worthy to partake of the wonderful gift that was being offered. She saw herself as worthy. How do I know she saw herself as worthy? She was in the streets. She went out there to get it, didn't she? Let's look at the lady real quickly at the well. We know Messiah come, and what did Jesus say? If you knew the gift of God and who it is that's standing with you now. See, not just a man. Jesus is telling her that the fullness of God is all around, everywhere. If you knew that gift, here comes my question to you, like I said this past Sunday. Are you free? Here comes the question. Are you aware that the fullness of God is everywhere? All around you, 24/7? There's no prayer that you pray that brings it close to you? Son, I am with you always. I am closer to you than breathing, nearer than hands and feet. What if you practice that? See, you're keeping it before your eyes. You're keeping it on your cupboards. You're writing it on the backs of your hands. You're seeing it in your heart. You see? If you walk around constantly realize, I am worthy. I am worthy. It's not my fault that I got mistaught. But all of this ugly stuff that's happening is happening because I have been mistaught, and God is saying, let me disrobe you. Let me get all that stuff off you, because the more I take away your fears and your pains, and the more I take that away from you, what happens? That's right. You see me. And if you see me, you see, wait a minute, you see yourself. And if you see me and see yourself, are you not a child of the living Father? Finally, this lady moved because the flame of life within her was fully ablaze. You've seen it. You felt it. You know that there's something within you that blazes up at times and lets you know. You've seen glimpses of what you believe heaven to be. You've seen glimpses of the righteousness of God working in your life. Those are not just random thoughts that run through your mind. Those are, you're seeing the reality of who you are and what you are. And as you continue to watch over that flame, that's what Paul says. It's going to blaze up, and you're going to be flooded with understanding. She was now light, and there was no power that could halt her belief. She no longer saw herself separate from the divine. The same spirit that resided in Jesus Christ, the teacher and healer, was alive within her. I guarantee you, that woman was not the same after that day. Even though maybe they don't mention her, but I guarantee you she saw something. What? What have you in the house? That's what I'm asking you. What have you in the house? Your house is your consciousness. You must be disrobed of everything that halts, intimidates, that aggressively comes to defeat you, and you have to face those things. I know they're hard, and I know they don't feel good, but you have to face them. How do you face them? You face them as light. Yeah, but I don't feel that I'm strong enough or powerful. You don't have to be. You just accept the fact that I am light, and you let that flame blaze up, and it will prove to you that it is with you always. She was not here simply to be saved or healed, but she was awakened from the sleep of mortality. You are not on this planet to find salvation. I hope you heard that. Remember, your purpose was implanted within you before the foundation of the world in Jesus Christ. And Paul says, don't you know that Christ is in you? Jesus Christ is in you. So how can you find salvation if salvation is what sent you here? Oh my God. Did I just see or hear what I thought I heard? That's right. You are the light of the world. You came here to light up the world, not to be saved. The realization of this Christ in you is the light that shines for others. Whew. Yeah. She was now remembering that she is indeed a child of the living Father. That doesn't mean that you just go around now and just tell everybody they need to follow you, they need to listen to you. No. Jesus said, I leave my words with you, and whosoever eats of these words, they shall be saved. And that saved means they shall be known as lights. Lights in a dark world. Lights in a world of ignorance. Lights that show the way. So what do you need to do? Just live. Just live. Don't try to persuade people that they need this or they need it. Just live. Live in front of them. And the ones that see your light, yep, that's right, like the moth to the flame, like the bugs in the summertime to the light. They that see your light will be drawn to it. When you know yourself, you will be known as you are known. If I were you, I'd write that statement down and I would contemplate it. When you know yourself, you will be known, see, as you are known. That means something already knows you, even though you don't particularly know yourself. But when you know yourself, look at the smile that just came on your consciousness. Yep. Jesus immediately knew her, and she immediately knew him. If I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. The first lifting, that's right. I lift myself first. I am the first lifting. If I be lifted up, then those who are seeking the light will be drawn to the light that's in me, not to my physical being. They'll be drawn to that light, and God will then begin, yeah, you see it. He's going to teach them of the light that's in them. As we lift up the consciousness of truth as that which we are, we realize that we are indeed living realities, genuine children of the living Father.